Hello lads, my name is Panos, and in this video today we're going to cut the ball and teach you the best ways to downshift and how to make it look easy in front of all your mates. So, downshifting in a manual, standard stick shift car, whatever you want to call it, left or right hand drive. Ignore that I'm sitting in the wrong or right side depending on where you're from. There's a few ways to do it. You can do a downshift with the brakes or without them. And there's a couple ways between normal downshifting, heel and toe rev matching, double clutch downshifting, and there's double clutch downshifting with the brakes. So it's like a heel and toe with a double clutch in there as well. And we're going to go over all of these, give you some examples, and show you what you might be getting wrong, right, or sort of nearly right. We're not going to go necessarily into why you should be doing this, but we're just going to tell you that it looks cool, it makes you a better driver, and it saves a few bits in your gearbox and transmission. E.g. puts less wear on your clutch when you get it right, makes your driving less jerky, and it's better for circuit driving and performance, normal road driving use as well. You don't need to be driving quick for this. So, a normal downshift that you would get taught in your driving lesson would look like this. Say I was going to go from second to third, and it kind of pains me to do this these days. You just clutch in and then release the clutch pedal very slowly once you've gone down a gear. And you can hear that the revs kind of take a while to build up. It's a little bit jerky, and if you just, and I'm going to just demonstrate you now, go 30 seconds and just let the clutch out, you get a forward lurch, and it's not very comfortable, it doesn't feel very good, and it kind of makes me weep for my clutch, basically. A very basic downshift will look like this. You will want to go down a gear as usual, exactly the same, except all you're doing is adding a little bit of throttle. How much throttle depends on which gear you're going down into. The very high gears, say 5th to 4th, will need only a little bit of throttle, and the very low gears, especially 2nd to 1st, will need a lot of throttle. And we'll go into the tolerances of this later, but say this is a 3rd to 2nd, clutch out, fairly quickly, and it was a lot smoother. And again, 3rd to 2nd, and again, very smooth, very easy, and it's quite fun really. And if you've got a nice sounding car, it leads you into downshifts for fun, where you're just doing it to make nice pop and bang noises. So why would you add throttle? Why would you do that in the first place? Well, apart from making those downshifts a lot smoother, because your throttle's taking the work out of your clutch, having to build your engine speed up to your road speed. That's all it is, and that's all we'll go into that. We're not going to be engineering explained with this, we'll just do a few demonstrations. If I'm, say, in 5th gear, 5th to 4th, only needs a tiny bit of throttle, 4th to 3rd, needs a bit more throttle, and 3rd to 2nd, needs quite a lot more throttle. 5th to 4th, tiny bit, 4th to 3rd, bit more, 3rd to 2nd, needs a bit more, so keep that in mind. And what the mistakes you may be making and the problems you'll probably run into will be that you might find you're still being a bit jerky. If you use too much throttle for the gear, you'll find that the car lurches forwards and wants to jump forwards. And if you're using too little throttle, you'll find it'll be the same as if you're just, not using any rev matching at all. The main thing people get wrong really is they're either over rev or under rev, and it's quite easy to know which you're doing. Again, if you're over revving, it'll be like you're dropping the clutch at the start. You're using too many revs and the engine speed, your wheels are spinning up. If you're using not enough, then your wheels are slowing down. So yeah, simple as really. So before we add brakes, we'll chat about another way to downshift, and that is a double clutch downshift. Now, all this is this is very similar to your rev-match downshift. This is very similar to your rev-match downshift, except there's going to be one extra step in the middle. What you will be doing is, say you're going from 3rd to 2nd gear, or you're going down any gear, you will go to neutral first, clutch out, then rev, clutch in, and then down a gear. So you've got that to neutral, clutch out, rev, clutch in, down a gear. If, for example, the synchros in your gearbox were screwed and you were crunching all the gears, this would be a way to downshift in that crappy gearbox or an old gearbox, because you're basically doing the job of the synchro. Nice thing is with manual transmissions is you don't need to do that. And you can just rev match downshift like we've shown before with no worries at all. Or you don't even need to rev match. You can just clutch in down, let the clutch up like we've shown. And that's what most people get taught to do when they're passing their test. Believe it or not, people do this under braking sometimes as well. And there was a fantastic video from Bridge to Gantry where he does a lap on the Nürburgring doing braking double clutch downshifts. It's quite impressive. So again, we go to neutral instead now. So clutch in, neutral, rev, and down a gear. So again, third to second, we go clutch in to neutral, clutch out, rev, clutch in, down. It sounds a mouthful, but it's not really. So again, watch this. And it's just an excuse to have a bit of a boot, really. So in fourth gear, to neutral, to third. Don't need as many revs there, but to second we'll need some more revs, remember. So it's something you'll do more for fun. Cooper suspension, please. It's more something you'll do for fun than for necessity. If you find yourself driving a really old car, really old, then you can use that for every downshift to make downshifts way easier and stop you crunching through the gears on, say, crash boxes and things like that. So it can be useful. On modern cars, it's fun, and if you want to take some wear off your synchros, go for it. Not really much more to it, except the movements will take you a while to get down. The next step would be to transition this to using said techniques, either normal rev matching or double clutch rev matching, and adding some brakes in there as well, because the best way you can use rev matching downshifts is under braking. Especially in, say, rear-wheel drive cars, where if you just go down a gear, let the clutch up really fast, the rear wheels are going to want to slow down because they're building the engine speed back up, and you'll lock, and you might start getting into slides. It might feel very, very twitchy. It can be a little bit disconcerting for you and your passengers. So, if you want to look like a professional, what you want to start to do is you're going to start to bleed these downshifts into your braking. So, one of the things people struggle with, especially with normal heel-toe downshifts, is when they've got their foot on the brake, they either can't reach over enough with their foot to downshift properly on the throttle, if they're using what they see on the internet, which is people swinging their heel over. This is going to come down to your pedal placement, how big your feet are, well, hey, and just how flexible you are, really, and what feels comfortable to you. What I'm going to say now is please, please, please prioritize your braking over everything else. Don't make your braking jerky, as in, you know, releasing, pressing and releasing the pedal just to compensate on the throttle, because the most important thing is getting you stopped, okay? I would recommend trying this off-road, and in fact, I'm not going to recommend this to anyone until they've tried it off-road first, just to protect my butt. Okay, so that's one of the things I see, and I see this especially with like sim racers, is they're on the brakes and they're doing like this with the brakes on the throttle. They're like, no, be smooth and consistent with your braking first, okay? It's not so important to get the heel toe right. That's like a secondary objective to the braking, okay? So, we're on the brakes, clutch in. And I'm using the side of my foot because it's way more comfortable. You will have to experiment, and a sim racing rig is actually a good way to experiment with what's more comfortable for you a lot of the time. Up to you. Whatever you think is going to be practical and that allows you to have that smooth, consistent braking. Again, that's the most important thing. So there is a use for double clutch downshifting and rev matching. Say if it's a little bit difficult to get the car into first, if you're still moving, you can double clutch into the gear as you're basically assisting the synchro. So the synchro is having to do a lot of work because there's a big speed difference between second and first. So, say you're under braking and you want to double clutch with brakes, that's absolutely fine. So again, brakes into neutral, and there it is. It's not as dramatic as you see some people do it. Like they can do it rapid speed and go for like, you know. All right, so fantastic. Thank you for watching today, everyone. I hope this provided a little bit useful. Please share it with your mates if you feel they're not very good at downshifting. and they're spilling your Mackies everywhere. Please make sure to hit that sub button, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you around for some more tutorials like this, more fun videos, anything that gets me to play with cars really, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.